Hello, welcome to PK Glitz. Today we're going to show you something that we're really excited about. It's our new line that we're carrying in the PK Glitz store of Spectrum Noir Alcohol Pens. They're a marvelous alcohol pen that you can use for all of your alcohol pen blending work. And can you believe it? You can get the pens for about $2 a piece. This is a phenomenal new item that we know you're going to enjoy. Let's show you a little bit about them. Okay, let's get started on our Spectrum Noir Alcohol Pen project. Today I've chosen our little pattern, Country Pumpkin. I just love the pattern, and I think it will be a fun way to show you blending from various colors on your pens. I've chosen 6 colors, and they all come from the initial 72 color set. So I'm going to show you that even with just those 72 colors, you can do a lot of fun things. I've chosen today to use my GB5, that's golden brown, my CR10, that's coral 10, my OR1, now guess what that is? Orange, that's correct. These are very easy to learn how to learn the code. CB1, that stands for citrus green. I think I said CB, it should have been CG. My DG2 and DG4, and that stands for dull green. So those 6 colors are going to do the work that we would like to do today. Now I also, whenever I find a color grouping for a particular card that I like, I do a little sample and a swatch, and I keep this so that when I want to do this card again, it's very quick and easy for me to go back, pull the pens that I want to use, and recreate that card. So that might be a fun idea for you to start a little library of card swatches. Now, let's get started with our project. In watching the various videos regarding alcohol pen use, you're going to see many techniques, and I won't begin to show them to you all here at this particular point. I'm just going to show you one that I think is kind of fun, and that actually does show how nicely the Spectrum Noir pens work. The basic idea in alcohol pen use is saturation. You need to saturate the paper in order to do the blending. And that's why the premium paper is so important, because it can take that saturation. You'll see different artists tell you to start from light to dark, others from dark to light. I actually think that both work in certain circumstances. Now today, I'm going to start out by doing essentially a light to dark. I'm going to start out with my GB5, which is my lighter color, and I'm going to use the chisel end of that to fill my pumpkin, about 90% of it. So I'm just going to fill that whole little pumpkin in with that chisel, but then I'm going to go back with my tiny tip and get into the detail work. When I'm working with a piece, I try and stay just a little bit shy of the edge of the piece that I'm working on. Alcohol does bleed, and if you don't want to have a little halo of color all the way around your image, whether stamped or pre-printed, if you'll stay just a tiny bit shy of that edge, I think you'll find that the results are going to work real well for you. Now, I used my lighter color there. I'm now going to go to my darkest one, which is my CR10, and that's for coral. Remember, gray means point, no gray means chisel, so I'm going to use the pointed end. And I'm just going to come in, and wherever I want there to be shadow on my pumpkin, I'm going to come in and lay a little bit of that color down. You can use a feathering effect. You can use an effect where you actually do a little bit more rubbing on your piece. That'll work too. I find that primarily is dictated by the size of the piece. Smaller work is going to need feathering. Your larger work, usually you can use that motion where you're doing more of a blending, rolling motion. I'm just going to kind of let my picture help me determine where I want little bits of color. Then I'm going to come over to my medium color, my OR1. Once again, I'm going to be using the pointed tip. And right between that dark and my lighter color that I had laid down initially, I'm just going to do a little more of that rolling motion and pull that darker color up into the pumpkin. I'm blending that color in. And you want to take a little bit of time. If you try and get too fast, you won't find that your colors blend as readily as you would like for them to. So I find that give yourself a little bit of time, allow that color to come on down, to blend on out, and you'll be much happier with the results. Now I'm going to go back to my lightest color one more time and take that medium one and blend it right into my light. You want to leave some light areas for highlight, so don't get too carried away with those darker, beautiful colors. Let's just keep on blending, and again, if you find that it's not blending as much as you'd like, slow down a little bit. Give that a chance to blend on up, and then we'll just lightly finish out with that lightest color. And that's going to give us a nice little highlight right there on top of our pumpkin. Now that's another thing to mention. When the alcohol inks dry, you're going to get a little bit different look than what you have when it's wet. It's going to be quite a little bit lighter. So this is not the end result that you're seeing right here. We're just getting down to it. Now let's put those aside, and whoops, you caught me not capping my marker as tightly as I should. Remember, alcohol markers will dry out more readily than a standard water marker will do. Now let's go ahead and work on the little stem and the leaves of our pumpkin. I just think that pumpkin's going to be gorgeous when we get through. I love that. Let's do a little bit different. We started light to dark on the pumpkin. On our leaves, let's do something just a little bit different, just to show you that you can. I'm going to start out with my darker color, my DG4, and I'm just going to do some little feathers in where I want some shadows or shading on my little leaf. So I'm just going to kind of feather that in a little bit. And once again, let the picture help you. If you're seeing shadow on that picture, let that be where you put your darker color. Then I'm going to come in with my DG2, which is my medium color, and I'm going to go from that darker, once again, kind of with a little feathered effect, just push that color on out onto the rest of your leaf. And again, leave some little light areas. Those light areas will really give you some pop a little bit later on. So we'll leave just a tiny bit. And again, if you come in just a little bit shy of your picture, you're going to have room for that alcohol to bleed just a little bit and still stay within the parameters of your picture. Now, just for a little fun extra highlight, I'm using my CG1, and I'm going to go over just those little edges, just catch that little bit, just to give myself a little highlight, but still roll those colors together just a little bit. And then while I'm there, let's do a little bit of light work on that stem and a little bit of color on the curl. Now notice I'm not actually drawing a line when I do that curl. I'm using more of a little dotting type of movement. That dotting gives you color, but less likelihood for the bleeding that you'll find sometimes. So it gives you a really neat look and not quite so much excess alcohol ink on the project. Now, I'm going to finish that stem on my pumpkin, by coming in with my darker color, and again, just that little feathering, just a tiny little bit in there just to give it a nice little look. And then one color that I didn't pick out, and I'm going to, you have to kind of really take a look at your pictures sometimes. I found that I have a couple of little pumpkin flowers. We have a garden this year, so I actually know that the flowers come out in kind of a beautiful golden color. So I'm going to choose this CT2, also from that initial 72 color, and add just a little bit of color to those flowers on my pumpkin. Now I'm not going to go any further to finish this today because I've given you the idea of what you can do with the pumpkin. The blending with the Spectrum Noir pens is just phenomenal. I really think you're going to like it. The price point is fantastic. You won't find better anywhere else, and the results I think you're going to find are very, very professional. The pens can be used in conjunction with other alcohol pens that you may already have. The colors blend beautifully together. So I think that whether you already have pens or are looking to start using the alcohol pens, the Spectrum Noir, you just can't beat them. I'm going to add one other little fun bit to our piece. Of course, we are PK Glitz, and that means that we do love to have just a little bit of highlight on our images. So I'm going to get out my Quickie glue pen. I know you all have one of those stashed away, and just a little bit of one of our glitter glitz to highlight the curls on the pumpkin. I found just a little bit of our spring green. That's one of our translucent colors. I just love this color. I think it's so great for little accents. And now I'm going to take my Quickie glue pen and just very quick and easily run around the little curls on our picture here. Then we'll go back, add just a little hint of our spring green. Put that excess right back in that pot. Of course, we'll use that again later on. Give it just a little flick. And now we've got even more interest on our lovely little card. Isn't that fun? And to show you what I meant about saturation before I let you go today, when you look at the back of your piece, this is what you should see. That saturation shows you that you've used enough ink from your pen to get the blending properties that you want. I'm so glad you could join us today and see this new Spectrum Noir Alcohol Pen. You'll get hours of enjoyment with this product. I know you're going to love it. And we hope you'll go over to the PK Glitz store where you can see the pens and accessory items available as well. We hope that you will get your friends to come and watch some of our Jammie classes. Simply go to the website, join our email family, and we'll be glad to let them know when new classes are coming up too. Until next time.